What's up, guys? It's your man KP67's bringing you another Imperial Academy video here. And today's video is going to be focused on the one and only, the iconic face of the Empire here, who recently had a rework, and that's why I figured, okay, I'll talk about him first. We are going to be talking about Darth Vader today. So Darth Vader is special in the sense that he has two faction tags, specifically Sith and Empire, much like Emperor Palpatine, and he is an attacker as well. When you look at his stats here, you can see that his strength stat is it's pretty high, and his tactics is also pretty high too. Strange because he doesn't deal any special damage, but I'm assuming it's because it's supposed to help resistance to some degree. But as you can see, strength is the best stat he's got. He's relatively tanky, almost 10k extra protection from mods. I have him fast, but, you know, unfortunately my mods are actually quite mediocre. This is a mediocre speed on my arena. Some guys are running like a 246 speed Vader and stuff, so it's kind of insane. His potency, not the highest, but under a Palpatine lead, it doesn't really matter. I've got his physical damage up a little bit. His physical critical chance isn't really that high up, and you notice that I also didn't mod him for critical damage. There's kind of a rhyme and reason to that, but I'll get into that later. His armor, he is quite tanky for an attacker. He is like borderline tank level with how much armor he has. And as you can see here, his special damage resistance, nothing crazy to write home about because he doesn't have any special damage. And his resistance also equally pretty tanky. His shard location, Darth Vader is special-ish in the sense that he was only, long time ago, he was only available through achievements. You would only get his shards by achieving certain goals in the game, and it would take forever to unlock him. Then for a period of time, he was available in the shard shop, as well as currently still being available, albeit rarely, in the fleet shop. In addition to, currently there is a data card in the store where for $20 you can unlock him right away because you can get 80 shards in the process. You know, if you're a new player and you're willing to spend money, 20 bucks is not very much at all in the grand scheme of this game to unlock Darth Vader right away to use, so that would be actually really helpful for you if you still have to unlock fleets, if you're still doing achievements and you're starting to kind of peter out in terms of achievements, it gets harder and harder to get his shards. So like, you know, that is an option available. With respect to Darth Vader's gear, his gear is not the worst in the world, but it's also not the best in the world. He does require 4 total Carbantes, 3 Mark V thermal detonators, excuse me, and you know, a kind of assortment of other, like he'll need like 1 stun gun, he's gonna need a couple generators, he's gonna need a couple Mark III hollows. It's just little things like that where you're just like, okay, like it's not bad, but it's also not like an easy gear. Don't really know what else to say besides that. It's just, you know, like all gears, you just gotta farm it, that's all. Going into his abilities here, keep in mind, this is post-rework, post-Palpatine and post-Vader reworks, where Vader actually got this little extra bit right here, no escape. So first we're going to get into Terrifying Swing, which deals physical damage to the target enemy and an 80% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn. Special clause, Jedi and Rebel targets cannot evade or resist the effects of this attack. This is pretty mint. I remember when it first came out and it was kind of a garbage kind of move because the ability block didn't proc all the time, like you didn't have this Jedi and Rebel targets cannot evade or resist. Now, he's very good at selectively shutting down targets like Jedi and Rebels. If General Kenobi's there, you can ability block him. If Han Solo's there or CLS is there, you can ability block them. CLS's tenacity in the call to action off mode no longer applies to Vader. Vader will just cut right through and, like, you know, he's ability blocked. He can't use call to action right away. Or he can't switch out of call to action right away, so it's actually quite beneficial. His first special here is Force Crush. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict speed down and 3 damage over time effects for 2 turns. This attack cannot be countered. The cannot be countered part was part of his most recent rework. Prior to this, against a CLS-led Rebel team, if Vader used Force Crush, he would just get annihilated because everybody countered right away, which was kind of stupid in my eyes. We've thought like, oh, maybe a daze would be better, but like, in all honesty, cannot be countered. I mean, that's a great, like, you know, you don't require any debuffs put down. He just uses Force Crush like at will and nothing happens to him, which is perfectly fine. Laying down all those debuffs are very helpful when you have him under a Palpatine lead, because not only does he gain back any health he may have lost by putting down debuffs, but he also maximizes his turn meter. He will gain 100% turn meter, which allows him to go into his next move, which is Culling Blade. This deals physical damage to the target enemy and dispels all debuffs off of them. This attack deals 50% more damage for each effect dispelled and grants 100% turn meter on a finishing blow. This attack cannot be evaded. If you have stacked a character with a ton of debuffs, this literally one-shots. As you can see in the clip here, he one-shots a full health, half protection Kenobi for about 120k damage, just because of the number of debuffs I had lying on General Kenobi at that time. This move, they actually buffed it as a part of their rework as well, and it is dangerous. He does so much damage, it's not even funny with this move now. If he's not one-shotting, he's bringing them close to somebody else finishing them off. It's an amazing move to see, especially when it crits, just because of how much damage he can pump out. And keep in mind, I don't have him modded for crit chance, crit damage, and he's hitting for 120k. Like, that's insane. Yeah, like there's not much else to say. This is like a one-hit wonder, big hit, like where you need to clean up a team or kill somebody quickly. It's very, very useful in that circumstance, and allows him to go again under a Palpatine lead, back to back to back, where he can then use his basic to block somebody who is necessary for cleansing, Rex tenacity up, etc., etc. Vader's leadership here is inspiring through fear. Empire and Sith allies have plus 30% offense and have a 50% chance to remove 20% turn meter when they damage someone. This turn meter removal cannot be resisted, and while Darth Vader is alive, enemies immediately regain damage over time for 2 turns whenever the dot expires on them. This was a bread and butter Zeta. When Zetas first dropped, everybody and their moms dropped a Zeta on Darth Vader at this time. Until it got kind of phased out, just because of, like, you know, you don't want debuffs sometimes sticking. Like, if you have a CLS-led team and you stick all these debuffs on them, CLS gains a ton of turn meter because of the damage being done to other rebels. Same with Obi-Wan, same with old Ben Kenobi. So it really got shut down by them. If you debuffed Thrawn teams, you literally never got a chance to go, because it would just feed their turn meter so much every time they reapplied themselves, as well as the fact that they actually granted back protection to a sense as well, especially to Zeta Thrawns. Even now, like, you know, people are trying to make this lead work with, like, the Wampa, Sith Marauder, etc. Darth Sidious, like, characters that drop a lot of dots and benefit off of dots, but, you know, in Arena, that just doesn't apply because there's no speed gain here. Speed gain, TM gain, is way more effective than turn meter reduction, by and large, across the board. And on top of it, he's not even getting a 100% chance to reduce TM. It's a 50% shot to reduce a small amount of turn meter. So, by and large, it's not the best lead. It still isn't the best lead to use, especially for an Empire or Sith team. That could change if we see new Sith come into the game, but as it currently stands, as of today, the 24th of February, it's not the best lead. And then finally, we have his newest special here, his unique here, No Escape. No Escape reads as, at the start of each encounter, Darth Vader gains 8 speed until the end of that encounter for each of the following: an Empire ally, a Sith ally, a Jedi enemy, and a Rebel enemy. Darth Vader is, oh, and this is the Zeta portion. Darth Vader is immune to turn meter reduction and recovers 5% health when a damage over time effect on an enemy expires. This is a beast Zeta. This is a beast unique. Even without the Zeta, you don't really need the Zeta. I did it because, you know, immune to turn meter reduction is just amazing. You know, goodbye Jedi Training Ray trying to reduce my turn meter, right? But the 5% health is kind of like, it's not a big deal. Under Palpatine, he already gains a butt ton of health regardless. But the 8 speed is so clutch, I can't even say, guys. Like, that's why I modded him as fast as I have, and that's why I recommend you mod him as fast as you possibly can, because Darth Vader counts himself in this count, and he is both Empire and Sith, so that's 16 extra speed. If you have Palpatine on the team, that's another 16 extra speed. That's plus 32 speed right there. And then if you lay out the rest being Empire and Sith, you're looking at another 24 speed on top of that. If the opposing side is all Rebels, or like, you know, Kanan and Ezra, who are Jedi and Rebels, Old Ben, who's a Jedi and a Rebel, you can gain an insane amount of turn meter. Not turn meter, I'm sorry, base speed, which makes Vader just so scary. Like, he just moves so quick now. And it's amazing to see, because like before, he was like the slowest character. He would never attack. It would be an issue. Now, with his speed, he goes first in most instances and allows him to just wipe the floor with any group you come across. So, after going over his abilities here, we're going to take a quick look at his mods. As you can see here, I have a speed set on him and a couple random pieces here. Obviously speed here. I've got offense there. I have another bit of offense there just to kind of buff up his damage that much more. I've got a bit of protection on him, 23.5. And as you can see, his speed secondaries are nice. Like, these are some of my better mods here that I use, like a plus 19. This is my best speed mod, for instance. And modding him, it depends on what you want to be able to do. Personally, I didn't opt for critical chance because he's very AoE heavy with his special force crush. And if you use an AoE on, let's say, a Rex squad or a General Kenobi squad, you're going to either proc a taunt or you're going to push Rex up enough that he can throw up Tenacity up. And Tenacity up is the, like, Achilles heel to an Empire team, because if they can't put their debuffs down, you know, Palpatine's new leadership isn't working, Vader can't do any damage, like, it just completely walls Empire until you can get rid of that Tenacity up. So, you know, that's why I try not to have him critting that much. When he does crit, he crits hard, but preferably he's not critting just to make sure that, you know, I'm not proccing so much turn meter, so many taunts, etc., etc. So overall, Darth Vader, you know, but he was kind of falling out of favor initially, especially for the Rancor. Like, people were like, oh, you can solo with CLS now. Use CLS because you use CLS for everything. But I never use CLS for anything. I have straight up used Vader for the Rancor ever since I possibly could. When the Zeta came out, he's been my Rancor go-to. I use him in the tank. I use him in the Rancor. I use him in, like, you know, Arena currently. I will use him in any future raids. I use him heavily in the Dark Side Territory battles. He can be used anywhere, especially with his reworks. It's not even funny how quick he can rip through PvE content now when you've maxed him out. He is just such a dangerous being now, and it's just amazing to see. As a quick note, he does have his own ship. I know it's been a while since I talked about ships because not many Empire have ships. And he has the TIE Advanced X1. And, you know, the ships will get their own thing after I finish the character reviews, but suffice to say that the X1 is a very, very powerful ship. It is a little squishy like all TIE fighters, but, you know, you pair it with a gauntlet. I'll talk about the gauntlet another time. He can actually take quite a few hits before he goes down. And the other beautiful thing about him is that he has an irresistible, non-evasive target lock, as well as the fact that his unique allows him to refresh target locks. So target locks, once applied, never expire until Darth Vader has been destroyed. So guys, that was a relatively quick rundown of Darth Vader. He has improved substantially compared to where he was a month ago, where you couldn't even use him in Arena. You know, using him in Dark Side Territory battles was kind of iffy. Like, you didn't know if you were going to survive. He has definitely become a much better character. To the point where, again, if you can compete and beat CLS, Jedi Training Ray, you've got a strong character, and that's what Darth Vader is. I would even say he's probably a free-to-play player's best friend because, again, like if you wanted to, you can completely unlock and max him free-to-play. Just do the achievements, play the game hard, and you'll get Darth Vader. I can't not recommend him enough. Like, he is just that good, and I really hope this convinces a lot of people that, you know, Darth Vader has a lot of use in this game, and, you know, you can use him in anything, and now he will truly dominate when you put him with the right team. Alright guys, that finishes up my review. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you'd like to subscribe, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be a little bit more consistent with my videos. They'll be coming out a little bit more frequently. But yeah guys, I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.